12 hours. That's how long the US and Iran sat across a table in Switzerland.
12 hours in one room. Those two countries.
And they came out with a roadmap. A 60-day roadmap toward a final deal. Qatar and Pakistan are calling it encouraging progress.
Okay, wait. Qatar and Pakistan were in the room?
Mediating. Yeah, we'll get to that. But first, here's the thing that keeps hitting me. This conflict has been running for over 100 days. Lebanon got dragged in back in early March when Hezbollah fired rockets at Israel. And now we're watching J.D. Vance sit down with Iran's parliament speaker in a Swiss resort.
That sentence doesn't feel real.
It barely feels real to say it, but that's where we're. June 22nd, 2026. Bergenstock Resort, Switzerland. And something actually happened.
Okay, so let's back up because I think people need to understand what we're even talking about. This isn't just diplomatic small talk. There's been active military conflict. Over 100 days of it.
Day 115. Actually, according to Al Jazeera's tracking.
115 days. And they've now agreed on a 60-day roadmap.
Right, so the talks started Sunday, June 21st. Concluded Monday. And the lead figures, this is worth pausing on. The U.S. sent Vice President J.D. Vance. Iran sent Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf. He's the parliament speaker.
Not a low-level envoy. Not a deputy undersecretary of something.
No, these are senior figures in the room.
Okay, and they were there for 12 hours straight.
Approximately 12 hours, yeah. And look, it's not like they walked in cold. There was groundwork. 5 days before the Switzerland talks, on June 17th, a 14-point memorandum of understanding was signed.
Wait, a 14-point MOU? Before the main talks even started?
Before the main talks, it laid out a framework for de-escalation. So by the time they're sitting down at Bergenstock, there's already a structure agreed on paper.
That changes how I'm reading this. That's not two countries stumbling toward a ceasefire. That's choreographed.
Hang on, I'd push back slightly on calling it choreographed, because there's a difference between a framework and a deal. And 60 days is a long time. A lot can fall apart.
Sure, but you don't sign a 14-point MOU and then blow up the talks 2 days later. That's not nothing.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. The pre-work is significant.
Thank you. So what actually came out of the talks themselves?
Okay, so there are a few things. The BBC is reporting that the US and Iran agreed to set up a direct communication line, specifically for the Strait of Hormuz.
Stop. A hotline for the Strait of Hormuz.
To prevent incidents, miscommunication, and to ensure safe passage for commercial vessels.
I mean, that's genuinely significant. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the most critical choke points for global oil supply.
And there's been a war running for 115 days in the neighborhood.
Right. So the fact that they're setting up a direct line to avoid accidents, that's not just diplomatic language, that's preventing a potential oil shock.
Or preventing an accidental escalation that nobody wants. Which might actually be the more important point.
Both things. Okay, what else?
So Al Monitor is reporting on something called a deconfliction cell. This is specifically around Lebanon.
A deconfliction cell.
US, Iran, and Lebanon, facilitated by Pakistan and Qatar. The goal is to end military operations in Lebanon.
Hold on. So there's a separate structure just for Lebanon?
Separate but connected. And Iran's foreign minister, Sayed Abbas Araghchi, he told the BBC there'd been major progress on ending the Lebanon conflict specifically. And he credited Pakistan and Qatar directly.
That's interesting, because those two countries have been doing a lot of the heavy lifting here.
They've been the connective tissue this whole time, both mediating, both facilitating, and now they're part of the oversight structure.
What's the oversight structure?
Okay, so this is the part that actually impressed me. They didn't just agree to talk more, they set up a high-level committee, political oversight, chief negotiators report up to it, and underneath that, working groups.
On what?
Nuclear issues, sanctions, dispute resolution. 3 separate tracks.
Nuclear issues is just sitting there in the middle of that list, like it's normal.
Casual line item, just the nuclear question.
That's the dark humor moment of the episode right there.
It really is. But here's the thing. That structure matters. Because it means even when the senior figures leave the room, the technical work continues. And that's exactly what happened. Iran's lead negotiators left Switzerland after the first round, but technical discussions between the parties are continuing for the rest of the week.
So it doesn't go quiet. The machinery keeps running.
Which is deliberately designed. You don't want a gap where nothing happens and everyone starts posturing for domestic audiences.
Okay, but here's what I keep coming back to. 60 days. What does that actually mean? 60 days to what?
Toward the final deal. That's how it's framed. The roadmap is 60 days. The destination is something comprehensive.
And what happens if day 60 comes and they're not there?
That's the question nobody's answered yet. And that's what I'd be watching.
I'd also be watching Lebanon, because Al Jazeera's reporting that the truce there appears to be holding. Day 115, and the truce is holding. That's fragile, but it's real.
It's real right now. And the deconfliction cell is supposed to make it structural, not just a pause.
So, what's the watch list going into the next 60 days?
Does the hotline actually get used, or does it just exist on paper? Do the working groups on nuclear and sanctions produce anything tangible? And does Lebanon stay quiet long enough for the diplomacy to breathe?
And do we see a second round of talks at the senior level? Because right now it's technical teams. The big names have gone home.
When Vance and Golubov sit back down, if they sit back down, that's the signal this is real.
Until then, it's promising. Genuinely promising. But it's a roadmap, not a destination.
That's actually the perfect way to put it.
Okay, look. If this story matters to you, and honestly, how could it not? Subscribe to the news pod. We're tracking this every step of the way. 60 days on the clock. We'll be here for all of it.
Don't miss a day on this one. It's moving fast.
It really is. We'll see you tomorrow.